Hello, everyone. It's Pam Esquire, also known as your law intellect. Today, we are going to talk about two lawsuits that have been brought against the African Methodist Episcopal Church, also known as A.M.E. So grab your friends, grab your family, and grab your foes because this could get a little interesting, and let them know that the law intellect is on. Imagine answering the call to ministry. You align yourself with the denomination and they assign you a church. You give them your word that you'll abide by all the rules, all the regulations, all the protocols. You're stressing to meet the church budgets and any dues that the church may have. You're being transferred from church to church, some people state to state. You have to uproot your family, have to learn new environments. Kids have to go to new schools. But you know this because it's a sacrifice, and you said it's all for the call, and I am willing to sacrifice. And in exchange, the denomination says, one of the things I'm going to do for you is because you dedicated and sacrificed your life all these years, I'm going to make sure that when you retire, you're okay. So we're going to set up a retirement fund, and you guys are going to contribute to this retirement fund. And once you retire, you're going to have a couple of dollars in your pocket. You're going to be okay. But what if when it's time to retire, the money is gone? The money just is not there. That is exactly what happened in the A.M.E. church. Yes, folks, the African Methodist Episcopal Church, the first independent Protestant denomination founded by Black people. Yes, the African Methodist Episcopal Church, the one where Richard Allen fought in the early 1800s in the court systems to be independent because of the racism that was occurring back there. So let me give you a little bit of background. All ordained ministers receiving a pastoral appointment in a local church, that church is required to submit a certain percentage to retirement fund on behalf of that pastor. And then when you get elevated and you become an elder, the church is up under you. They do the same thing. They'll go ahead and they'll submit a certain amount that can go for the elders. And then you got bishops, you have other different people in position, and they have to also contribute to this fund. And it's a requirement. It's not anything that you can choose to do. You have to do it. Like if you don't do it as a pastor, there are consequences, and they'll probably call you out. And you have to prove that you submitted this amount at their annual meetings and convocations that they have. And this has gone on for years. But apparently, Dr. Jerome Harris, who was the director of the fund since 2000, he was the director of the fund from 2000 to 2021. He would go to these A.M.E. conferences, right? And he would let everybody know how great the fund was doing, how he invested with the wisdom of Solomon, and they were conservative. So it doesn't matter. The economy might be a little rocky, but my God, we were so conservative that we didn't lose any money. Every year he would talk about how much this fund has grown. I mean, he reported in 2017 that the plan had over $120 million in it. And then every year he would just report all this significant growth. He's like, man and woman of God, when you retire, you are going to be okay. He would have all these charts and pretty graphs from Excel that he would present at these annual conferences and let everybody know, just reassure them, man and woman of God, you're going to be okay. Well, the lie detector determined that that was a whole lie because in 2021, of the summer of 2021, Dr. Harris was replaced by James Miller, right? So he assumes the director role. So, of course, you come in, you want to go over all the numbers, you want to crunch the numbers, go over the documents, see what's going on. So on June 30th, 2021, the plan had reported that there were $126,800,000, probably more than that, and more than $90 million were missing. Yes, you heard me right, $90 million. James Miller said, listen here, the math ain't mathing. So in January of this year, 2022, there was a meeting and they had to explain it to all the people. You guys probably saw the articles. They had to explain it to all the people that although we thought that we may have had the money, yeah, we ain't got it. We're gonna investigate though. We're gonna do some audits because we want to see what happened. I mean, how did this even occur? But y'all hang tight because we're just as upset as you guys are. We're just as upset that this money is gone. I want to retire one day. So I'm not happy about this either. So we're going to really look into this and we're going to look diligently. So what happened is people that were receiving retirement already, they got letters that said, deny, you're not going to get it anymore until we audit. We're going to freeze this. Even though you've been living off of this, we're going to freeze this. And then if you submit to try to get retirement, we're still investigating you. We're still auditing, getting things together so that maybe you can get something in the future. And then it comes to find out they had an investigation and it showed that what the previous director did was he did not invest conservatively in just an annuity like it was assumed. He invested in very risky investments. So, for example, he invested in tens of millions of dollars in a high risk investment known as Motor Skill Venture, which is now defunct. They also invested in Financial Freedom Fund LLC, which in turn also invested in Motor Skill Investment Group. And as I just said, they're now defunct. So that means they're worthless, worth $0. So really only $37 million was invested in Sumitra, which is the actual annuity fund to my understanding. They invested $1.5 million in undeveloped land in Marco Island, Florida. That's already lost $500,000. So basically, for 20 years, this director has been over these funds. Clearly, nobody audited, nobody looked over anything to make sure these numbers were accurate. And he was being dishonest the whole time, not just in how much money, but even what you invested in the first place. And not surprisingly, many of the documents are missing, allegedly. The new director looked into the file cabinets and they were emptied out. So a lot of this stuff doesn't even have a paper trail, it looks like. So of course, several members of the A.M.E. church, they were like, we not buying it and we about to sue. So that's exactly what they did. 2 lawsuits have been filed in both Tennessee and in Maryland, and they are requesting that they be class action certified because this is one of the largest denominations. So this is going to affect several thousands of people. And so they had federal claims such as ERISA, which is our retirement statute. And then we also have several state law claims. And they're claiming that this is an ERISA fund because they have documents that say that they agree to abide by federal law, which is ERISA. So this is going to get interesting. And they simply said, listen here, we want our retirement fund money and we want it now. And it's just very interesting to me because as a preacher's kid who grew up in the A.M.E. church, I have watched year after year pastors who have gotten their churches snatched because they did not meet the budgets or got demoted or were somehow chastised in front of people, called on the carpet. They don't care if your roster is not what it was, if membership declined. They have an amount that they want paid and they don't care. They want it paid and they want it paid now. And they can tell you if you got $5 missing in your budget. But you mean to tell me y'all had $90 million or more missing and y'all had no clue? So basically, when it came to protecting your clergy who dedicated their life, you guys didn't pay much attention to that. So what I would say is, A.M.E. Church, y'all need to lawyer up. And in the interim, you need to get a good real estate person so that they could sell a bunch of these properties and all these buildings that you have so that you could try to replenish what you guys allowed to be taken. We'll continue this conversation at another time. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. Again, if you have not done so, please like, please share, and please subscribe, and we'll continue this later.